good. So I'm Mounir, I'm founder of Paraswap in Portuguese since recently. Paraswap, we are a decentralized exchange aggregator running on 9 EVM blockchains since 2019. And Portuguese is a new protocol that I'd like to talk to you about today. And I guess you had a great talk from Adrian about intents. So I would like also to try on my side to explain intents the simplest possible way to also convince everyone that intents are really the future. So when you guys go to a coffee shop, you can either ask for an espresso and precise the recipe, the way the coffee will be made, and give all instructions to the barista, which is fine. I mean, it happens. It entails various steps, and maybe you're an expert in coffee or like a very, let's say, coffee guru, which works, but the vast majority of people will just express an intent. They will say just, I want a normal coffee, and I think even if you are a coffee guru, well, most of the time you're in a hurry or you just want your coffee, and you trust that the barista will do the right thing, and you just ask for the coffee, and the barista will do the magic in providing you the best possible coffee that you will enjoy. But another example that I like is when going from point A to point B. So for instance, you want to go to a party in Dubai, and there are various options to get to the party. So you get a car, you need to make sure you take the right road, you respect the speed limits, and the traffic lights, and all of that, which you can do. It's a lot of steps. You get more control, of course, when you are in your car. Sorry. But in fact, our objective is to get to the party and not the way you are getting to the party. So why don't you just get an Uber, express an intent, I'm going to the party, to this address, and just push a button and it will be done for you. The magic will be done by your driver and the service that's running on the back, on behind the scenes, and you get to enjoy your party. You don't need to worry about how the traffic is working and how Dubai traffic is working and the flood and all of those things. But in trading, in DeFi, in trading in general, this is how trading used to work forever, even before DeFi. It's just that the infrastructure wasn't there. But if you go to Binance or Coinbase, well, you don't tell Binance how to execute a microservice or how to run a DB. You just push a button and say, I'm selling that token for that token, or I'm creating a limit order, and the trading engine is going to do the work for you. And this is now happening in DeFi as well, where you can either go to a counterparty, that's like a Paraswap today, or the vast majority of DEX UIs, where you need to load your wallet, you need to make sure you have enough gas, you need to make sure that the gas price hasn't changed, and track all of that. Or you can just push a button and express an intent. You're selling token A for token B, you're okay with the price, sign a message, and it's done for you the most optimal way. We'll get into more details. But that's the bottom line, is you don't need to worry about the magic behind the scenes, you just need to worry about your trade being executed. And that's, I guess, for the vast majority of this world population, that they won't be degens and DeFi natives. But also, if you're a degen, your goal is to really acquire that token in order to ape in into another protocol or speculate on that token. Your goal is not really the execution details. So I think this works for everyone, not just for I would say, the average Joe. So benefits, obviously, I mean, I guess many of you have known, and you've seen also the Adrian talk was really amazing. But we get, at the same time, an improved user experience. That's what we aim for, to also get DeFi into the masses. We abstract all the complexities like gas, protection against MEV, and all of that. And we get to also simplify new use cases, like obviously swaps, but also limit orders, DCA, optimization, you name it. So now I'd like to talk about Portuguese and our take on how we can build intents, but not only intents, but also platforms to run intents in a decentralized way. So now if you look at the existing products, You can like summarize them in a user interfaces or APIs, contract or Web2 APIs that allow users to express an intent, sign a message, and a bunch of solvers behind the scenes competing for the user and having the right, the winner has the right to execute the trade on behalf of the user. Problem with this architecture, it's working fine, it's great. It processed billions of dollars so far, so it's really working. We have a real product market fit. But the problem is that we still rely on a centralized middleman. That's like a Google server, AWS, and all of that. It's working. The user is still self-sovereign. So we're still in the DeFi realm at its core. But the problem is that it's not unstoppable. It's not non-censorship resistance. It still doesn't fit or check all the boxes in decentralization. I think we can do better than that. And this is where we are introducing what we call here a decentralized layer. It's one way of keeping an abstraction, of not giving it yet an architecture. It's kind of an intent, if you would, on architecture terms. There are various possibilities like app chains, new layers, or like chain link type of networks. But bottom line, the idea is that there is no longer a hard reliance on a centralized server. It's a new neutral network where users can submit their intents. And that neutral network, or that what you call DL here, will create auctions, and solvers will compete with the DL. And what we get here is, well, decentralization, like this is a neutral, decentralized network, but also provability and we avoid censorship resistance. I mean, we have, censorship resistance, unlike if we are running a centralized party, and the platform, the system becomes unstoppable. This is really what we want. But obviously, as pragmatists, we think that, well, we try to improve user experience and to improve resilience. But if we introduce in, let's say, a new complex network that end users have to deal with, let's say an app chain where users have to pay gas again, we defy the purpose of user experience. So this is where we think, out of pragmatism, we need to still keep those centralized middlemen, but they will be this time optional. So you don't need to use them, but you use them out of convenience. Let's say, for instance, you are QuickSwap or Camelot. You want to provide the best possible experience to your users. So you provide them with, you run your own layer, you abstract all the complexity behind the scenes, you provide them the best possible experience. But at the same time, they can bypass you if they want to. If you are a sophisticated user or a high frequency trader, you can plug in directly to the DL. But for the average Joe, they will still go to the relayer. But what they get to here is auditability and provability on after the facts. Like if my trade wasn't executed to the best possible way, I can still go back in time and check and audit and make sure that, well, it's indeed happened as expected and the best possible execution really indeed happens. So also, yes, been running Parasoft for 5 years. I think there is the idealistic world that we want to see, but I think what's best we can do for the ecosystem is to provide iterative improvements. Like we deliver products that has the core features that users want, and users want nice UX, users want protection against MEV, they want the best possible execution. So this is where we are breaking this down into 5 steps, where a step 1 and 2 will achieve a similar state to existing product, still with the centralized middleman, but with an iterative improvement. That's not enough, of course, so this is where we're aiming to launch this DL and breaking down the research into multiple phases over time. Doesn't matter how long it takes, but what matters is the learnings we get from end users and the product that we put in the hands of users. So the first stage we call Doric. It's fancy names came from one of my colleagues who likes the Roman era, and that will be, well, we have a product that abstracts MEV, gas, on layer 2s, it's faster than usual products. And stage 2, where this is where we introduce a network of solvers. And in stage 3, this is where we introduce a new decentralized layer that's kind of, I would say, similar to more or less to Anoma, but it's very, very oriented into trading or transactions instead of a very general purpose, which is great also. It's a great, great concept that we can obviously learn from. But then moving forward, since it's a decentralized layer, Doesn't matter what its nature, but to be decentralized means also an incentive system, a self-sustainability. So this is where we are working also on new fee models. There are various of options. There are options we can cherry pick from traditional finance, funny speaking, but they can work very well if executed in a transparent way, in an efficient way, like payment for order flow, where, well, it's still a platform for trading. They monetize through fees, and that's also the path we're taking. Obviously, we're exploring other things because it's still a new system, like subscription models, although I tend to think that, well, fees are the way to go for exchanges and exchange platforms or protocols, but TBD, also that's done in purpose. If let's not do it now, let's do it later, and let's keep the research and iteration and feedback, especially from users, in order to get there. And the last step, the end game, is to deliver a fully decentralized network, self-sustaining, using the architecture that we are looking at right now. There are also various questions, open questions like privacy, for instance, and how to achieve privacy and build the best trade-off between privacy and performance, which is a very hard problem to solve, but the hope is that from here to there is to build what we call here DIN, so like decentralized intents, in that division that we have seen so far. Anyways, yeah, thank you. That's my talk. Happy to answer any question.